This is a channel that will simply amaze you. Let me show you why. First of all, I want to show you why I even started this channel. When I saw that the average the median account balance of somebody 65 or older in the Vanguard accounts was only 87,000. I said, there's got to be a better way. So I started this channel, $1 Million Made Easy, and I'm just going to go through some of the sheets that I show you. I asked the question, what if there was a YouTube channel out there that would run numbers for you? That's what we do. I come across Kiplinger. Kiplinger says you're not going to outperform the S&P 500 over the long term. So I said, okay, I'm going to use the S&P 500. Then I saw that you don't want to just look at the 10-year average, because the 10-year average, you could have a decade like the 19 or the 2000s where you actually lost money. You want to be in it for the long term and then look at the averages that you can count on if you're in it for 30, 35, 40 years. These are the kind of numbers. This is the worst case scenario here. Then I looked at the inflation rate. It's developed charts for that, how important that is to uh, figure in. Why did I develop these spreadsheets? I wanted to help the young person. I wanted to let them show if they're in it for 35, 40 years, they're just kind of amazing numbers. But I also wanted to show the retiree how much he can safely withdraw and have his money last. So I look at this, I found this chart and I saw, man, if you're in it for the long term, look at this. This is the blue is the money you're putting in, and the purple is the money that your money's earning. And as time goes on, it's more and more and more. I actually ran the numbers here. What percentage is your money, and what percentage is what your investment's earning? And obviously, it just gets higher and higher and higher the farther you go, to the point where uh, in the 40th year, 80% of what your gain is from what your money's earned, not what you put in over the long term. And I just keep running these numbers. I show you how to save money on your mortgage. Say, for example, you got a $300,000 mortgage, 7% interest, your payment's $1,995. You get a tax return of 2,100. You slap it on there uh, as a prepayment, and look how much you save in interest. So we run all kinds of different sheets that way to show you how to. This is our actual number set. This is what I keep finding out. The average American retiree had $170,726 in their account, and I go, why is it so low? And only 8% of people actually get to a million. So I wanted to show people how they can get to $1 million. It doesn't take that much. I saw this chart. Average investor gets 3.6% on their money. Why? Because they jump in and out of the market. When the market starts going down, they panic and get out, and then they don't know when to get back in. If they just stuck it in the S&P 500, they'd average 9.5%, and this was over a 20-year period. We also run the inflation numbers. I looked at 1923 numbers. Since even as recent as 1988, the buying power of your dollar has lost 60% of it in just the last 35 years. But these are the kind of things we do. We run all kinds of different numbers. We show you how all these numbers work. This, for example, shows you if somebody had $100,000 and left it in there, where they'd be in the S&P 500. Again, you could have a down 5-year period where you actually would lose money. But we run all kinds of different numbers there. We take into account inflation. We do it for the 5 to the 10-year period. We do it the 15 to 25-year period. We do all the different periods. I got different spreadsheets set up to run them. We got the 25 to 35-year period. We got actually, somebody want to know what would happen if you put it in for your grandson and let it sit in there $10,000 for 65 years. This would be the numbers you'd have in the worst case scenario. But that's the kind of thing we do. We run all these different numbers. I don't have time to go through what each one of these can do for you, but I just wanted to show you a possibility of what this channel can do for you. This is what we actually do. They look at the actual historical returns to the S&P 500. We run what similar returns might do for you in the future, and we end up with a range. I did this one. What about if you could contribute $500 a month? Oops, not 5,000. $500 a month, where you'd be after 30 years. Oops, I need to be doing it this way. Sorry. These numbers look amazing, but you got to take into account inflation. As soon as I put in an inflation rate, these numbers will drop. But you'll see the graph over here, what you'll have after 40, 35, 40, and 45 years. Putting in $500 a month, the buying power of that, and this is a chart over here. But this is the kind of stuff we do on this channel. We run all kinds of different numbers. We show you what an 8% return would do. This is the money you put in. This is the money that your money earns for you. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. Basically, 91% after that's just 50 years. 84% of the money is what your money earned, not what you put in. You only put in 15.4%. I know I'm going through here really fast, but I want to show you all the different things we do on this channel. Um, we look at what different financial channels are saying at the time, and they run stuff at 8%, and they notice what they say. It's a bit less than the S&P 500 over time. That's an understatement. When I ran the numbers, the worst case scenario for a 40-year period, you get 9.5%, and in the average scenario, you'd get 11%. So it's a lot better than this 8% that they often run numbers at when you see these financial channels. This is also very eye-opening. 93.1% of the domestic equity funds underperform their comparison index. In other words, the S&P 500, just put it in there, and you beat 93.1% of these equity funds. Who recommends this? Warren Buffett. For those people who have neither time nor the expertise to be an active investor, passive investing in an index fund like the S&P 500 is a great alternative. And that's what we do in this channel. We show over and over again what putting it in the S&P 500. Yes, the S&P 500 goes down. It has good years, bad years. It has good stretches, bad stretches, but you stick it in there for the long term, and the numbers are simply amazing. And that's what we show on this channel. But then also, once you get to retirement, we show what can happen if you have a certain amount of money. Say you have $1 million and you want to withdraw, let's see, 4,000 a month. That's a 4.8% withdrawal rate. We see how often your money would have been okay after a 10, 20, and 30-year period. We run all kinds of different numbers for people, just showing them just what we can do on this channel for them. We show what Social Security can do if you kick that in. We show you the graph of what these show. We show you Dave Ramsey's 8% situation. And people, if you do 8% of original balance or 8% of the remaining balance, I know this is going through this really fast, but I want to show you just what we can do in this channel. We can run the Social Security numbers for you. If you know what your amounts are going to be, we'll actually figure them out for each of these different time periods. We can just go on and on what this channel can do for you. I've run this one. How much money would it take to get back what you actually earned in your whole lifetime? Look at these numbers, folks. If you got 10%, if you could save 8% of your money, and you got an account that's paid 10%, actually the S&P has averaged over 11%, you'd have all the money you ever earned in that 42-year period. Right here are the numbers. You would have earned 2.520. You would have actually have an account balance of 2.55 million. You could have more than what you actually earned. These are the kind of things we do. We show you the range of what you do. If you put in $350 a month in the worst case scenario over the last 100 years for a 35-year period, you'd have over $1 million. 45% of the time, you'd have over 1.5 million. But these are the kind of things we show you. We show you what Monte Carlo does. Just on and on and on. I can just keep going through these. This is an important one too. Sometimes people say, well, the market didn't go up from 1929 to it took 25 years to get back from 1929 to 1954 to what it was in 1929. They're not taking into account the return that you get. We have to look at the total return because you do get dividend return if you leave your money in the S&P 500. This is the kind of stuff we do. We just run all kinds of different numbers for you. Please consider subscribing to this channel. This channel can really help you. I'm just kind of jumping through some of the screens without explaining any of them for you. But what AI says to do, the difference between stocks and bonds are just mind-boggling. You think an 11% return would be twice as much as a 5% return? No, it wouldn't. Look at this. Again, this is looking over a 100-year period. I realize it's way more than that. But this just shows you the breakdown of how much more beneficial an 11% return is as opposed to a bond return of 5% over a long period of time. There's just all kinds of different things we show you on this channel. Show you inflation rate, how that affects things. Anyway, this is what we do on this channel. I would just love to have you subscribe. I think it's very beneficial to you. I get all kinds of comments from people that say, this is just an amazing channel. People need to see these numbers And I would totally agree because I don't want you to end up with this kind of number when you reach retirement. Thanks so much for watching and bearing with me. I just wanted to show you the potential of what this channel can do for you.